After getting hit by a car and dying, I drifted to my nemesis's bedside at midnight, planning to scare him so badly his soul would fly out. But instead, I saw him with tear-stained cheeks, trembling as he pressed a kiss onto my photo. I froze in shock. What was going on? He liked me. After being stunned for a moment, annoyance surged through me. I slapped the back of his head. Well, attempted to, anyway. You couldn't use your mouth earlier. If you liked me, why didn't you just say it? What's the point of kissing a photo now? Couldn't you have kissed me when I was alive? Completely useless. Before I could finish scolding him, everything spun. And I was reborn. Story begins. I'd been complaining every day that I wanted to die, and today I actually did. I died saving a kid from a speeding car, floating left and right as a ghost. Honestly, it felt kind of strange but also interesting. After some thought, I decided to find my longtime rival, Darian. If he knew I died, he'd probably be celebrating. I planned to float over his bed and scare him half to death. But once I drifted into his apartment, the place was full of empty beer bottles scattered everywhere. Darian was sitting on the floor, slumped over. What? Did he celebrate so hard he passed out? I frowned and was about to lean closer to see if he was alive when he suddenly lifted his head, making me jump backward. His eyes were swollen and red. He'd clearly cried for a long time. He picked up a photo beside him and stroked it again and again, as if it were something precious. Curious, I leaned over. It was a photo of me. I was stunned. He was this heartbroken, because I died. Phelan, you're really cruel, he whispered. Moonlight caught on the wet tips of his lashes, casting delicate shadows across his pale skin. I sighed and squatted beside him, hugging my knees. I didn't mean to die, okay? It was instinct. I couldn't just watch that kid get hit. And besides, now there's no one left to purposely annoy you. Shouldn't you be happy? I tried to poke his cheek. My finger went right through. Figures, couldn't touch him. Darian's eyes were bloodshot, frighteningly red. After a moment, he shakily lifted the photo and pressed a soft kiss to it, lingering there for a long time. I was speechless. My mind buzzed. He was kissing my photo. Why was he kissing my photo? He liked me, but didn't he hate me? Shock, confusion, disbelief all crashed into me at once, followed immediately by wild, overwhelming joy. If he liked me too, then maybe. No, I was dead. Anger bubbled up. I had enough resentment to level up into a full-fledged ghost. I aimed a smack at the back of his head. You couldn't say it earlier. What's the point of being sad now? You could have kissed me when I was right in front of you. I liked you for more than 10 years, and you made me die without even a proper confession. How do you expect me to feel? You absolutely useless man. I was about to continue when my vision spun again. When I opened my eyes, I had returned to 3 days before the car accident. I stared blankly for a long while, then pinched myself repeatedly. The sharp pain confirmed I wasn't dreaming. I took a deep breath, pressed my palms together above my head, and bowed like crazy. Perfect. Given a second chance, I would absolutely win him over. I rushed to Darian's apartment and banged on the door. Darian, I know you're home. Open up. The door opened quickly. Phelan, it's so late. Why are? His pupils shrank sharply. Because I pushed him against the wall and kissed him soundly. Warmth shot through my brain, making my scalp tingle. When he finally reacted, he tried to push me away, but maybe he was too shocked, because he barely used any strength. I grabbed his wrist and pinned it against the wall with a loud slap. My momentum could have blown up the planet. Darian froze like a statue, every muscle tense. I took the chance to deepen the kiss. This mouth I'd dreamed of kissing for years. Finally, heat raced through my entire body, dizzying. When the kiss ended, I slid my hand to his waist and leaned even closer. Darian, do you want me? I'll give myself to you. I breathed the words softly, then pressed a quick kiss behind his ear. His whole body shuddered, but then a strong grip seized my wrist. His eyes were red at the corners, his brows tightly drawn. I couldn't tell if he was flustered or furious. Phelan, is this another one of your impulsive tricks? Is messing with me that fun? The next second, bang, the door slammed shut in my face. Okay, that was not the reaction I expected. I squatted at the door, completely confused. Shouldn't he have picked me up and thrown me on the bed by now? Was I too intense and scared him? Well, thinking about it, an arch-rival suddenly throwing themselves at you would seem suspicious. After pondering it over, I stood up and stretched my sore legs. Fine. If a straight-up approach doesn't work, time to switch tactics. I knocked again, voice soft and pitiful. Darian, the dorms are already locked. I can't get in. I didn't bring my ID, so I can't get a hotel either. Can you please let me stay for one night? If not, I'll have to sleep on the street. Please. The door opened. Darian's handsome face showed a complicated expression. I grinned and pressed my palms together. Take me in. I warm beds. You talk nonsense every day, he complained, but still stepped aside and let me in. Darian no longer lived in the dorm since graduation was near. He'd moved into a small studio apartment near campus. I looked at the single bed and couldn't help feeling a spark of excitement. One bed. Perfect. So, I smiled at him. I didn't shower before I left. Can I use your bathroom? Darian shot me a glance, expression tightly controlled. Do whatever you want. And can I borrow a shirt as pajamas? This time he almost lost his composure. I looked at him innocently. See? I only brought my phone. I can't sleep in dirty clothes after showering. It'd make your sheets dirty. I'd feel terrible. Darian was silent for a moment, then opened his closet and handed me a large white t-shirt. Thanks, I said quickly. Oh, do you have underwear? His hand paused on the closet door. Then he awkwardly took a new, unworn pair from a box and handed it to me. All clean. Never worn. I grinned wide, took them happily, and marched into the bathroom. Steam rolled down my skin as warm water washed away the last bit of tension. I stared at my reflection in the mirror. Not bad. A decent face, features in the right place, and with my pale skin, people often said I looked gentle, though I personally disagreed. Darian's shirt hung loose on me, the wide collar revealing a stretch of skin that felt almost too exposed. I tugged it a little wider anyway. If I was going to launch a campaign of seduction, I needed to look the part. His clothes were all one size too big. There was no helping it. I stepped out of the bathroom, bare-legged and dripping the warmth of a fresh shower. Darian glanced up, only for a split second, then snapped his gaze back to the book in his hands as though it suddenly mattered more than oxygen. He didn't flip a single page. Which side of the bed should I take? I asked. Whichever you want. His voice sounded tight. I slipped into the nearer side of the bed, only to get up again and wander around the room looking for water, deliberately making noise. I even made a little loop around behind his chair before returning to the nightstand. 5 minutes. Still no page turned. I set down my glass. Aren't you going to shower? You have an early class tomorrow. If you don't sleep soon, we're both going to be late. Please hurry up, I'm trying to make progress here. He finally exhaled softly and closed the book, probably having read none of it. I'll go now. While water splashed behind the bathroom door, my mind sprinted in circles like a wild animal. Nervous? Yes. Excited? Also yes. Maybe I should watch a video tutorial on how to seduce your longtime crush. No time. The water stopped. The door opened. I turned toward him, only to freeze. Darian stood there fully covered, long sleeves, long pants, buttons neatly fastened all the way to his collar. He showed less skin than a medieval monk. This man had absolutely no idea how to showcase his charm. No wonder he had zero dating life last time around. I'm turning off the lights. Go ahead. The room fell fully dark. His blackout curtains did their job too well. The mattress dipped slightly. He'd gotten into bed. I reached a hand sideways. Nothing. He was lying all the way on the opposite edge. Seriously, the distance between us could fit an entire train. What kind of person keeps their crush an entire galaxy away on the same bed? Did he not like being close? But I liked being close. I could take initiative. 10 minutes passed. No movement. I rolled over for the 20th time. Darian? I whispered. Are you asleep? Silence. Fine. Incredible. I forced myself to breathe slowly and settle down. Half dreaming later, I rolled over and bumped into a warm body. Instinctively, like a sleepy cat, I curled toward the warmth, wrapping my arms and legs around it. The warmth didn't move away. In my dreams, memories surfaced, of us as kids, neighbors who used to get along so well. I used to trail after him everywhere. Then things changed, probably around senior year. A girl moved in next door, and she liked calling his name. A lot. I hated it. Didn't know it was jealousy back then. I was just an idiot. I scowled at her, picked fights, even made her cry once. I tried to apologize, but when Darian arrived and gently asked me to do so, the apology died in my throat, and the whole mess only snowballed. Looking back, I'd behaved terribly. She hadn't done anything wrong, and eventually I realized all that annoyance was just pure, unfiltered possessiveness. When that truth hit me, I didn't sleep for an entire night. Confessing? Not a chance. What if I lost even our bickering? So I bottled everything up and continued being his so-called rival, even when we ended up at the same university. But now that I knew he liked me too, forget being enemies. I wanted to date him. When I woke up, Darian was already up and dressed. A faint shadow under his eyes caught my attention. You didn't sleep well? I asked. He shot me a complicated look, mouth opening then closing again. After a long pause, he just shook his head. It's nothing. Get ready, we should head to campus. We split ways once we reached school. Our majors were different. I spent the entire day distracted. I had to find a way to stay at his place again. I refused to believe I couldn't win him over eventually. After class, my friend Kaylee slung an arm around my shoulder. Phelan, karaoke tonight, then dinner. My treat. I pried his hand off and wagged a finger. Can't. I have plans. He gasped dramatically. You? Plans? Don't tell me you finally agreed to go on a date with the department beauty. What are you talking about? I thumped his shoulder and smirked. I'm going fishing. I intentionally showed up at Darian's door with absolutely nothing but a small birthday cake in my hands. A few minutes later, he returned home. When he saw the cake, he paused in surprise. I brightened, lifting the box. Today's my birthday. I want to eat cake with you. Cake, a movie, and staying until 11. Perfect excuse to stay overnight again. Darian was quiet for a moment before speaking. Your birthday is in 31 days. Wow. Someone kept track. I shrugged. Details don't matter. I've decided to celebrate a month early. Now hurry, open the door. I'm exhausted from standing. Inside, I all but dragged him into lighting the candle and singing the birthday song. He looked helpless, but he still cooperated. When the lights came back on, I shamelessly scooped up a bit of frosting and swiped it onto his nose in one quick motion. I doubled over laughing. Darian wiped his nose with a tissue. Stop messing around. Just eat properly. I refuse. I declared proudly, then dabbed more frosting onto his freshly cleaned nose. After I decorated him a few more times, Darian finally reached the end of his patience. He wiped the frosting off his forehead and aimed his hand at my face. I leapt up to dodge, but my foot caught on something, and I fell backward onto the sofa. Darian tried to catch me but stumbled as well, and we toppled together. We ended up tangled, his hand braced beside my ear, his face close enough that I could hear every breath he took. Our eyes met. The room went quiet. Heat pulsed under my skin. I smiled slightly, leaned forward, and gently licked the bit of frosting off his nose. Darian froze. Warm air slipped from my lips as I spoke softly. Darian, when we kissed yesterday, how did it feel to you? His mouth tightened. He didn't answer. I tilted my head, closing the already tiny distance between us. My gaze traveled from his eyes down to his lips. Do you want to kiss me again? He inhaled sharply as if about to speak, but I moved first, turning my head to kiss him. Slow, careful, savoring. My arm slid around his waist, drawing him slightly closer, until there was no space left to speak of. The air grew warmer. My heartbeat grew louder. His kiss, gentle at first, gradually turned urgent, like a wave gathering strength. His grip on my waist tightened. A shiver ran straight through me. Just when things grew heated enough that my thoughts scattered, Darian suddenly pulled away. His breathing was uneven, his eyes slightly reddened from emotion. I lifted myself, ready to kiss him again, but he quickly stood up and stepped back. I'm going to shower. He hurried into the bathroom, leaving me lying there in total disbelief. Seriously? We were right there, and he just ran off. The way he reacted just now, clearly he felt something, and he still managed to hold back. How was that even possible? Sitting upright, I glared down at myself, frustrated to the core. He got to flee to the shower and cool off. What was I supposed to do? Unbelievable. He was going to be the end of me at this rate. To distract myself, I watched 3 full episodes of Detective Conan. Only after Conan repeated his iconic line for the 3rd time did I finally calm down. An hour later, yes, a full hour, Darian emerged. I shot him a dry, sarcastic look. Wow, a marathon shower. Fabulous. I wanted to talk to him, but Darian kept his eyes down, his posture stiff, sitting as far from me as humanly possible. He answered selectively, clearly avoiding me. It felt like I had somehow turned into a notorious troublemaker harassing an innocent bystander. Unbelievable. I grabbed the cake, stabbing the soft surface with my spoon like it was Darian's face, smashing it piece by piece before shoving it into my mouth with a blank expression. Utterly aggravating. I stayed over at Darian's place for the 2nd night, and absolutely nothing happened. When we went to bed, he still kept a solid distance from me. Forget doing anything, even talking required raising my voice across the room. I sighed for the 20th time, shook my head for the 30th, unable to make sense of it all. Kaylee's finally couldn't stand watching me like this. Phelan, why do you look so tragic? Like you're acting out some old heartbreak drama. He poked my arm with his pen cap. You didn't come back to the dorm last night, right? Shouldn't you be glowing today? Why all the sighing? What disaster hit you? Come on, tell your big brother. I turned my head away listlessly. Kaylee's, have you ever chased someone? Tons of experience. I've chased like 7, 8 people. What, you fought with the department belle? Need advice on how to coax her? You found the right. I mean experience chasing a man. Kaylee's excited expression froze like someone hit pause. He stayed stiff for what felt like a whole century, then finally stammered his way back to human speech. You want to chase a guy? I nodded. Kaylee slapped a hand on the desk. Who? Darian. He cupped his face and wailed dramatically. Darian? Isn't he your eternal rival? What did you eat? Or are you possessed? Wait, this is a new tactic, right? You're pretending to chase him, turn him around, then ruthlessly ditch him. Classic villain arc, right? I clicked my tongue. What kind of dangerous imagination is that? Am I that awful? I'm serious. I've liked him for a long time. Kaylee stared at me, soulless, like I had just broken his worldview with a hammer. And recently I found out he actually likes me too. But it's weird, he's willing to kiss me, and he definitely reacts, but whenever things get close to, well, anything more, he backs off. Then he avoids me. Help me figure this out. Why? Kaylee's was still in corpse mode, eyes blank, refusing to respond. My confession had apparently shattered him beyond repair. I wasn't expecting a real answer anyway. I just needed to vent. I sighed again and slumped over the desk. Only after a long while did Kaylee's resurrect, pull out a chair, and sit beside me like he was solving a case. But that doesn't make sense. You used to swear up and down that you don't like men. You even said it in front of Darian. How did you suddenly bend? When did I say that? Seriously, I didn't remember. A month ago. When I got rejected and cried to you. On the way to the classroom building. Oh, that. Kaylee's had been devastated after being turned down, clinging to me and sobbing that since neither of us were dating anyone, we should just pair up out of mutual misery. I kicked him and told him I didn't like men, to stop clinging to me. Then I noticed Darian walking behind us with a blank expression. Wait, did he think I truly wasn't into guys? Did he think I kissed him just to mess with him? That I only wanted to watch him lose control and get flustered? Oh no, that's a massive misunderstanding. I shot upright, slapped my own mouth, then pointed accusingly at Kaylee's. Brother, look at what you've done. Kaylee's yelped and scrambled away, clinging to the dorm bunk ladder. What did I do? I didn't sneak behind your back and flirt with Darian. I glared, then collapsed back onto the desk, defeated. I needed to find a chance to explain things to Darian clearly. I wasn't teasing him. I genuinely wanted something real with him. After a long silence, Kaylee spoke again. I can't help you personally, but I know someone who might. You could ask the department belle. I heard she's a hardcore BL fan. She's read more male romance than I've read textbooks. She confessed to you 6 times and you friend-zoned her every time, but maybe she's still kind enough to help you strategize. I blinked and slowly sat up. The next day, I went to find her. You kissed already, and you were the one who started it? Yeah. He kissed you back, and things almost escalated? Yeah, but it didn't happen because of a misunderstanding before. Elisa slammed the desk so hard her tea trembled. Ever since she realized why I had asked her out, she had been vibrating with excitement, completely forgetting the tragic history of being rejected by me 6 times. A misunderstanding is great. Misunderstandings always turn into emotional fuel later. Then feelings explode. Then everything becomes unstoppable. I nearly jumped out of my skin, face burning red, trying to shush her. Would you lower your voice? Was this something to announce to the world? Elisa chuckled, flipping her hair dramatically. No wonder you kept rejecting me. Someone as dazzling as I am, there's no way a normal man could resist me. But now it all makes sense. I can help you, but I have one condition. I swallowed hard. What condition? Her eyes gleamed. You have to let me use you two as inspiration and commission a writer to create a 10,000-word fanfic. Enemies to lovers. That arc is too good. You two are going to be my emotional support characters. I didn't fully understand, but it didn't sound harmful. Sure, I said. Elisa leaned in mysteriously. I'll send you a link later. Study it. Tonight, drink a little, just a little, don't get drunk, and then go to Darian's place. I walked down the street with a few cans of beer I'd just bought, replaying Elisa's strategy lesson in my head. The plan was, pretend to be drunk, confess to Darian with all the heartfelt intensity one could muster, call him my love a few times, and then, powered by liquid courage, push things forward and settle everything in one go. But was this drunken boldness trick even reliable? What if it failed again? Knowing him, he was capable of misunderstanding anything. Forget it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And if he still resisted, I could just sit on him, literally. There's no way he could toss me off the bed or something. Yes. Perfect. Suddenly, someone bumped into my shoulder, hard. No apology. No reaction. Just kept walking. I was about to tell him to watch where he was going when I froze. 3 days ago, the day I died, I walked this same street. I was bumped by this same man. And then, my heart clenched so hard it almost stopped. The intersection. It was right there. I didn't think. I just ran, sprinting like my life depended on it toward the crosswalk. Just in time to see a little girl stumbling toward the road. The light had only 3 seconds left. Don't cross. Go back. I shouted as loud as I could, but she didn't stop. And there were no adults nearby. Panic hit me like a wave. I couldn't let the same tragedy happen again. I threw the cans aside and bolted forward. 1 second left. The familiar car was speeding toward her. I lunged with everything I had. A rush of wind grazed my ear as danger shot past behind me. I wrapped my arms around the girl, and we tumbled across the pavement. The adrenaline was still surging, drowning out pain, when I heard someone yell, voice cracking from panic. Phelan. I looked up and saw Darian's face, white as a sheet, shaken to the core. I told you not to wander off. You disappeared the moment I turned around. Why do you never think about safety? Thank you. Oh, thank you, young man. Without you, this would have been a disaster. Thank you so much. The girl's parents bowed deeply, trembling with relief. I quickly helped them stand. It's fine. Anyone would have helped. Please watch her more closely, I added, glancing at the road. The street's dangerous. They nodded repeatedly, thanked me again and again, then carried their sobbing daughter away. I let out a long breath. Thank goodness. This time, we all survived. As for the hit-and-run car, Darian had already called the police. They would investigate. He supported me by the arm, brows tightly knit. You really don't want to go to the hospital? Don't try to tough it out. I waved him off. Seriously, I'm fine. The car didn't hit me, you saw it. I just fell. Some scrapes and bruises. I just need a little ointment. His frown only deepened. I hopped in place twice. Look at me. I'm fine. I'll be able to run 800 meters tomorrow. Don't underestimate my stamina. Relax, I'm not dying. I thought I was reassuring him, but his tone snapped even sharper. Do you even understand how dangerous that was? You were this close to. His voice broke. He couldn't say the word dying. Seeing him like that made me fall silent. He was terrified, genuinely terrified. The moment I glanced back and saw him earlier, I'd never seen him that panicked. He had run toward me like he'd lost his mind, then froze, too scared to touch me until he confirmed I wasn't badly hurt. His eyes were red from how shaken he was. He must have been scared out of his mind. And if he was here this time, did that mean he saw my accident in the previous timeline too? My chest tightened, hot and sour. I pressed my thumb against my knuckles, ready to apologize properly. But then I saw Darian walk in front of me and crouch down slightly. What are you doing? You hurt your leg, didn't you? I'll carry you back. My eyes widened. Darian's place was barely 200 meters away, but being carried through the street was embarrassing. I hurriedly pulled him up. No, it's okay. It's just a scrape, I can walk. Darian glanced me over with that stern expression of his. Or do you want me to carry you in my arms instead? His tone left no room for negotiation. In the end, Darian carried me home. He gently set me down on the sofa and pulled out a first aid kit. Then he reached for my waistband. I grabbed it in alarm. What are you doing? He pointed at my knee, expression completely serious. Medication. Pants off. I opened my mouth to argue but remembered I was wearing jeans. No way to roll them up far enough. Fine. I'll do it myself. Awkwardly, I slipped off the outer layer and sat there with bare legs. Darian lifted my calf onto his knee and began cleaning the scrape with careful, steady hands. The whole scene felt strangely embarrassing, which made no sense. I'd walked around half-dressed in front of him plenty of times. Why did this suddenly feel so formal, so intimate? Why was I blushing? I was supposed to be seducing him. Right, seducing. Drunken courage. Wait, where was my beer? I bolted upright, remembering I had abandoned everything on the street. Great, there went my entire plan. Darian misunderstood my reaction as pain. Did I press too hard? I'll be gentler. I was about to say no when he leaned closer to inspect the scrape, then softly blew on it. A shiver raced up my spine. My thoughts scattered. I stared at him, his eyelashes distinct in the warm light. Something in my chest tipped over. Before I could stop myself, I asked, Darian, do you like me? His hands paused. After a moment, he looked up. But before he could speak, I rushed ahead. I like you. Not because I want to mess with you. Not as a joke. Not out of impulse. I genuinely, truly like you. I've liked you for years. Darian froze, unable to respond for a long moment. We looked at each other, our attention completely fixed on one another. You, like me? Yes. Afraid he wouldn't believe it, I pulled my leg back, took his hand, and gently guided him to sit beside me on the couch. I leaned in, close enough to see every shift in his expression. So those times you kissed me, he asked quietly, you weren't doing it to make fun of me? Of course. So that really was what he thought. I placed his hand over my heartbeat, speaking slowly and clearly. No, I kissed you because I wanted to. I've never once wanted to laugh at you. You heard me tell Kaylee's I didn't like men, right? I only said that to brush him off. I do like men, because you are one. I used to be immature. And honestly, I was scared. I didn't know how to deal with what I felt, so I kept acting out just to get your attention. It was childish. I paused, swallowing the words I couldn't say aloud. But the truth is, I wanted to be close to you. Really close. I looked at him steadily. What about you? Do you, like me too? I spoke seriously, carefully, wanting him to hear every word without doubt. A faint light flickered in Darian's eyes. After a moment, he lifted a hand and gently brushed his fingers along my brow, then my nose, then my lips. His touch paused there, lingering, before he tilted my chin up and leaned in. Yes, I like you too. The kiss he gave me was soft, almost hesitant, as if he was afraid to push too far. But gradually, emotion overtook caution, and the kiss deepened with warmth neither of us tried to hide. My hands slipped to his shoulders, holding on to him as the intensity between us built. Breath mingled, and everything else faded into the background. But just when I reached for him again, his hand closed around mine, stopping me. He drew back slightly, eyes tightened with restraint. No, he said quietly. I blinked, taken aback. Why not? Don't you want me? He inhaled sharply, steadying himself. You're hurt. It took me a moment to process that he meant the small scrape on my knee. Oh, that? It's barely anything. But he still looked conflicted, so I leaned in with a teasing whisper. It's not like I'm asking to kneel. He almost smiled, almost. But he held firm. Instead, he pulled me gently into his arms and lifted me, holding me securely against him. I wrapped my arms around his shoulders so I wouldn't slip. Later, when we finally settled down, every muscle in my body felt like it had turned to water. I collapsed on the bed, trying to breathe normally again, before pushing myself upright to glare at him. You're unbelievable, I muttered. I was injured, and this was my first time. Have you ever heard of being gentle? Darian pressed a soft kiss to my back, his hands soothing in slow, steady circles. You were the one telling me not to hold back, he replied quietly. I grabbed a pillow and threw it at him. I didn't tell you to treat me like I'd survive a battle. He caught the pillow with maddening calmness and set it aside, then pulled me back into his arms, pressing a kiss to my nose. You're right. My mistake. Next time, I'll be more careful. Better. I wrapped my arms around his waist and tucked my face into the curve of his neck. He smelled faintly of orange-scented soap, warm and comforting. After a while, Darian hesitated before speaking. Thalen, if you liked me all this time, why were you always so harsh to me before? I lifted my head. Because you were always hanging out with Jaxer. He blinked. Jaxer? Yeah, the girl who used to live next door to me. You two were always talking. I thought you liked her. I got jealous. She and I argued once, and you made me apologize. I knew I was wrong that time, but you still took her side. I hated it, so I just kept picking fights with you. It was stupid. Darian stared at me for a long moment, then raised a brow. Thalen, have you ever noticed that Jaxer actually preferred talking to you? What? He sighed. Do you know what she asked me every time? What colors you like? What food you like? What movies you watch? She liked you. The one who was jealous wasn't her, it was me. My brain short-circuited. What? Before I could recover, Darian flipped us, pinning me beneath him with a steady hand on my chin. So because of that, he said slowly, you decided to treat me like the enemy? Every conversation we had, you sounded like you wanted to start a fight. I thought you couldn't stand me. His tone dropped lower. Thalen, you really are something. I looked away, flustered. I mean, it wasn't that bad. We argued, sure, but it's not like we weren't talking at all. And anyway, it's not only my fault. You could have said something. If you liked me, why didn't you confess first? You could have just grabbed me and kissed me, or... I stopped myself before saying anything too bold, or done something, but instead you hesitated. So yes, this is partly on you. Darian let out a quiet laugh, blaming me now. Fine, if that's how you want it. He reached for the shirt on the bedside table and gently wrapped it around my wrists, tying a loose knot and lifting my hands toward the headboard. I froze. That was definitely not what I meant. Realizing my mistake, I immediately changed tactics, smiling sweetly despite the panic. Darian, sweetheart, we've already had a long night. Maybe we should rest, maybe continue this another. His response was a kiss pressed firmly to the side of my neck. Too late. The next day, the police called to say they had located the driver. He hadn't actually hit me, but it still counted as a near-miss incident, and I had the right to pursue responsibility. But he explained that his wife had gone into labor. It was their second child, the delivery was progressing quickly, and he had no choice but to rush to the hospital. He knew he had almost hit me, but the situation was urgent, his wife was unwell, and he simply didn't stop to check. He admitted it was his fault. At the station, he apologized again and again, sincerely offering compensation. After thinking for a long moment, I decided not to pursue the matter. I only asked the officers to give him a formal reminder about safe driving. If this was the truth, then in the previous timeline, that accident hadn't been just my tragedy. Tomorrow or an unexpected turn, no one ever knows which will arrive first. Why the sigh? Leaving the station, Darian asked. I shook my head, walked backward with my hands behind me, facing him with a few exaggerated steps. Darian, don't react yet, I said if yesterday I really hadn't made it, what would you have done? He glanced at me, voice calm. Nothing dramatic. I pouted. Sure, as if I didn't know. You would have drunk yourself senseless, hugged my photo, called my name like someone lost in a storm, ready to fall apart. Darian pulled me closer and laced his fingers through mine, holding my hand firmly. If something really happened to you, I'd go through a very painful period. Then I'd keep living like everyone else, just without letting anyone else into my heart again. I'd function, but I wouldn't really be alive. And once I've taken care of my parents and have nothing left tying me down, I'd come find you. But you, heartless as you are, probably wouldn't wait for me. You'd already have reincarnated somewhere new. Hey, who's heartless? I pinched his arm with a tiny huff. I would not. I'd turn into a very dedicated spirit who shows up by your bedside just to spook you when you get up at night. And when you scramble away in panic, I'd laugh at you. Then, when you finally get old and join me, I'd list every embarrassing thing you ever did. Which, honestly, wasn't far from what I did last time. Darian's lips curved, and he wrapped an arm around my waist. If I could really see you then, feel free to scare me as often as you like. It would still be better than never seeing you again. But silly, humans can't see spirits. If not for this second chance, we would have never had the possibility of being together. Only endless regret in a night with no dawn. I exhaled, letting the heaviness fade. Forget it. No more what-ifs. I'm alive, and you have me now. Nothing gets better than this. By the way, are you free next week? I want to take a trip and decompress a little. Oh, and do you know the beauty of our department? Alyssa, she used to have a crush on me, but now she's a full-on fan of us. She messaged me last night asking about our progress. She said she wanted to know if she exists yet. I stared at that for ages, couldn't make sense of it, so I asked her. You know what she said? She said, on the lively street, I chattered beside Darian, walking so close our shoulders brushed. Sunlight washed over his face, softening his features, making even the tiny baby hairs visible. I stared a little too long, warmth blooming in my chest, and forgot what I was about to say. And then, Darian turned to me. I flashed him a bright smile. Nothing important. What matters is, I love you, so much. In the flow of people passing by, a boy in a white t-shirt and denim stepped up on his toes and placed a quick kiss on the cheek of the one beside him. Time paused, warm, steady affection glowing in the sunlight.
And that brings us to the end of today's story, a wild blend of rivalry, regret, second chances, and a love confession that took 2 lifetimes to get right. What I really enjoy about this novel is how it handles emotional timing. The author doesn't rush the characters into romance. Instead, we watch 2 stubborn people crash into their own misunderstandings again and again, until fate, quite literally, throws one of them back in time. That second chance creates a tension that's both funny and painful. Thalen's reckless courage mixes with Darian's quiet, repressed love, and the result is this constant push and pull that keeps the story moving. The strongest part, in my opinion, is the emotional reversal. Who expected the enemy to be the one crying alone with a photo at midnight? That scene flips everything, and suddenly the rivalry feels more like years of bottled-up affection neither of them dared to admit. It's dramatic, it's cinematic, and it works. But the story isn't perfect. Some moments move so fast they almost feel unbelievable, especially the sudden switch from enemies to lovers. A few emotional beats could have used more breathing room. Still, the pacing keeps the tension high, which is probably why it's so addictive. Overall, it's a romantic roller coaster built on misunderstandings, second chances, and a lot of chaotic energy, the kind that makes you shout at the characters but also root for them anyway. So what about you? Which part hit you the hardest, the first death, the midnight confession, or the final moment of honesty? And do you think the reborn to fix everything trope makes the relationship stronger, or does it raise even more questions? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.